Welcome back to Law and Crime. I'm Jeanette Levy, and we're in verdict watch in two high-profile trials, Kim Potter in Minnesota, the former police officer, and Ghislaine Maxwell, the British socialite facing federal sex crimes charges. She is also the former companion, girlfriend, what have you, of Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted sex offender who was found dead in his jail cell in 2019 as he was awaiting trial on federal charges for sex crimes. So the jury is deliberating in Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, and there's actually been a little bit of action there at the federal courthouse. So we thought we should check in with Adam Klasfeld, the managing editor of lawandcrime.com, to bring us up to speed. Adam, tell us all about what's been going on with the jury. It seems like they had a couple of questions.
They did, and the questions that they had related to what is known as an FBI 302. The interviews that FBI had with one of the alleged victims in the case, Carolyn, in 2007. Now, here's why that's very significant. Throughout the trial, the defense has made a strategy of trying to find inconsistencies with what the alleged victims told the FBI over the years versus what they said on the witness stand. The thing about FBI 302s, those interviews are unrecorded. We don't know if the interviews are accurate, and they're not admitted into evidence. They wanted the text of the FBI interview and were essentially told by Judge Nathan that all of the admitted exhibits are before them. Now, here's why that's significant. They appear to have confusion about what FBI notes are, what the 302s are, and that confusion benefits the defense strategy in a sense because it shows that they are engaging with the defense theory of the case, that these memories have changed. I looked up the particular note that they were looking for, and in this particular case, they had asked for testimony about Carolyn telling the FBI about an older woman with an unknown accent. And they questioned her, did you know what a British accent was? So they wanted to look at that note. And an expert who I consulted about it, who's a former federal prosecutor who prosecuted sex trafficking cases in particular, thought that this was a note that benefits the defense. And I can say from my personal observations that Maxwell's lawyer, Bobby Sternheim, appeared to be smiling ear to ear. She was wearing a mask, of course, but you can see her smile lines as she was talking to some of the spectators seated in the front row. And Maxwell, who seemed a little intense when the jury note came in, appeared to be upbeat after as well.
Very, very interesting. And, Adam, I will never understand why the FBI in this day and age isn't recording these interviews. I know they still rely on those written reports and they don't record the interviews. I'm pretty sure the DEA doesn't either. And you would think the feds would just get on board with that and start recording these things, either audio or video. But I guess that's neither here nor there. So Ghislaine Maxwell seemed pretty happy about this, it seems, in your estimation, and her lawyers. So do you think we might be getting close to a verdict based on those notes from the jury?
Well, we'll see what happens. I'm always hesitant to make any predictions about these things because the judge gave a pretty clear instruction that all of the admitted exhibits are before them. If they have a confusion about what an FBI 302 is, maybe that confusion was clarified. And again, these jury notes, they do inspire a lot of reading of the tea leaves, but the deliberations have just begun. Earlier this morning, they requested the testimony and transcripts of all three alleged victims. So, it could happen soon. It could be a speedy conviction, a speedy acquittal. We're still early. Or it can take long.
Sure. Right. Yeah, they could be at it for a while now. You're right. I mean, they haven't really been at it that long for all the testimony that they listened to. Adam, thanks so much. We appreciate it. We'll check back in with you if there are any new developments. And, stay safe down there at the courthouse with all the COVID stuff going on in New York right now.
Thank you very much, and will do.
Thank you. All right, Philip Dubé, I'm interested to hear what you have to say about what Adam just said regarding those jury notes and the fact that Ghislaine Maxwell and her lawyer looked happy about the state of these two notes from the jury, and also about this whole thing about how the FBI doesn't record these interviews. I just don't get why they're not doing that. It's 2021. So your thoughts on both of those issues?
It's a very promising development. Keep in mind that whenever any law enforcement official, be state, local, or federal, is interviewing a victim or a witness, they are taking contemporaneous notes during the conversation. We tend to call those the raw notes, the wet notes, actually in the pen or pencil of the law enforcement official. And oftentimes, those notes are taken again, contemporaneously during the conversation, and it tends to be verbatim. If the witness then months or years later comes into court and changes the version of events, then they can certainly be discredited with that law enforcement official's notes. Now, the problem comes up where law enforcement takes a stand, they deny that there was any inconsistency, or they might say that they forgot their notes, they don't know where their notes are, and jurors tend to look at that very skeptically. They are healthy skeptics because the role of law enforcement is to observe and to report. And why on earth they would not preserve the raw notes of an interview with a witness or a victim looks suspicious in the minds of the jurors. And they're going to get a jury instruction that if a witness, even law enforcement, is not credible or believable in one aspect of their testimony, they can disregard everything they said on the stand. So that was huge. That's a very big development. At least as to whoever propounded that question, there might be one or two jurors who wanted the answer. The other ones could have been satisfied with the evidence as presented.
Interesting. And don't you think it's kind of archaic, though, that they don't record these interviews? I mean, yeah, you're a cop. You're going to sit there and maybe jot down some notes, but this 302 thing. But I just can't believe it when they're not recording either audio or video, especially video in this day and age. I mean, they can outfit any room with video and record it. So why aren't they doing that? And are you surprised by it?
Well, the real question is, did they have it all along and they just never turned it over? Or was it one of those loops that, sort of self-deletes after 30 days? But typically, when you go down to the station and you sit in an interview room, and when it's a suspect, it's an interrogation room, up in the light fixture in the corner of the wall where it looks like it's a sprinkler or, an alarm, it's actually a camera with audio equipment that is recording everything that is going on in that room. So, yes. It captures everything that's being said, unless, of course, the equipment is not functioning or it's not recording. Instead, it's just for viewing only. But that has been going on for decades with law enforcement. And one of the reasons why they don't put a tape recorder right in front of the witness or the suspect is because they don't want it to have a chilling effect on their willingness to speak openly, candidly, and freely. Instead, they just have it up in the ceiling in a vent or a light fixture or in an alarm to pick up everything. But jurors don't like it. Jurors don't like it in this day and age when you don't, at a minimum, have, a little camcorder sitting next to you at the table to take down everything that's being said.
I mean, if we can record something on our phones, using the voice memo app, the feds should be able to record these things, and they don't. And it's just their policy, and I don't get it. All right, we are going to talk more about the Dante rape case, the Kim Potter case, when we come back. So stay with us. You're watching Law and Crime.
Hi, this is Dan Abrams with exciting news for all of our Law and Crime followers on YouTube. You can now get the live Law and Crime Network with YouTube TV for all of your daily live trial coverage, legal news, expert analysis, and original true crime programs. Subscribe to YouTube TV today and then locate Law and Crime in the channel guide. And for only $1.99 a month, you can add the network to your bundle. Watch Law and Crime every day with YouTube TV. We put you in the jury box.